Hello, welcome to episode 2.
Here's our blanket, excellent.
Asymmetrical twin. Dropping and sinking.
Notice how
So just notice. Joining us for the second episode next week. Namaste. Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Namaste Yoga. I'm your host, Melissa West, and today I'm joined by my friends Lisa Lyle of AjaxFitness.com and my friend Carrie Krensker. And today we're going to be doing a class for the large intestine, and we're going to start a series of classes for the autumn season right now, drawing on Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. In the autumn season, the large intestine is one of the dominant organs, as are the lungs. And so in today's class, we're going to really focus in on the large intestine, really opening it up, lengthening it out, so that we can really relax into letting go, both in a very physical way and also mentally, emotionally, and so on. So I'll get you guys to rest back. So settle back into Savasana and just notice how your body feels resting against the ground here. And since today we're going to be focusing on the theme of letting go, that doesn't tend to be something that we as humans like to do too easily. So let's start with working on letting go in the physical body. So allowing the physical body to really sink and drop into the ground. Just noticing any points of tension or any spots on the body that are bracing, and see if with the next breath out that you could release them a little bit more into the ground, really just surrender them to gravity. And just notice what it's like to let go in the physical body without any judgment or criticism, but just with a really compassionate awareness. If it's easy to let go, if it's easy to let go in some places or more challenging to let go in others. So in yoga, we believe the body is multidimensional. There are various layers of the body. There are the 5 koshas. So when we work with the physical body, we affect all the other layers of the body. So as we release physically here, we can also release emotionally. We can release recurring thoughts. So we affect all the layers of the body here. So as we continue on here, I want you to focus in on your breathing now. And pay particular attention to the breath out. Allowing that breath out to be really long, and maybe over the next 20 or so breaths, just let that breath out gently lengthen. And even when you feel you've fully let all the breath out of the body, just see if you can breathe out a little bit more. So by focusing on the out breath, on letting go of the air out of the body, we can begin to continually increase this process of letting go through our practice. The breath can be a fabulous tool for that. Then notice how you feel emotionally today. What are your dominant emotions? How are you feeling? And again, without judging or assessing emotions as good or bad, but just noticing what's really happening and honoring them and giving them space with a real tenderness. So letting go of judgment and criticism. And allowing whatever emotions are there to be there. And then notice what's on your mind. What are you thinking about today? What are the recurring thoughts today? When I was in Toronto this past weekend, I noticed a sign outside a yoga studio that said, "Who would you be without that recurring thought?" So what would it be like to let go of certain recurring thoughts? Most of our thoughts aren't very productive. We just kind of go over the same thing again and again in our minds. And then here in the fall season right now, we have the beautiful leaves falling off the trees. So you could imagine that your thoughts are like leaves on a tree. And just allow the leaves to drop from the trees and fall to the ground to be composted back into Mother Earth. And then notice what your spiritual connection is like today. How is your spiritual body? Are you feeding your soul? Sometimes in the busyness of day-to-day life, we forget to honor ourselves in that way. And then also take into account what's happening in your day-to-day life right now. And let's take some time to set an intention for our practice now. An intention that will support our larger theme of letting go, and an intention that will support you in your life right now. So let your yoga practice really serve you in your life. And then when you're ready, we're going to start stretching out a little bit. So we're going to be working a lot with the colon, which is the same thing as the large intestine. And I just want you to really know where that is in your body. So it runs sort of from the right hip bone up to the right rib cage. That's the ascending colon. Then it travels across underneath the ribs, and it goes down the left side from the ribs to about the left hip bone. So that's the general area, and the idea today is that we're going to lengthen them out so that it's relaxed, so that it's easy to let go. You know, there shouldn't be effort in letting go. So we'll create a very relaxed space in the body. This class is going to feel really good. Okay, so to start doing that, what we're going to do is stay lying on our backs. And we'll just take our arms overhead and do a side bend. And let's side bend to the left first, because we want to focus in on really working and lengthening out the ascending colon first, because you always want waist to move up and across and down, rather than the other way, up the left side, across and down the right. So when you're doing twists and postures and stuff, if possible, it's helpful to really be thinking about lengthening or compressing the right side first. And let both shoulders be heavy on the ground here. And continuing those nice, deep, long exhalations. And then we'll come back center, and let's do that on the other side. So we'll side bend to the right. Now you're lengthening out, elongating through the large intestine and also the rib cage. And as we're going to get into next week, we're going to simultaneously really focus on working the intestine and the rib cage simultaneously. But here we are really opening up those intercostal muscles really nicely, which helps to open to breath and helps to really tone the lungs in a way that helps to boost the immune system too. Okay, and then come on back center, and I don't think we can get through this class without doing Apanasana, knee to chest pose. So we'll start with the right leg drawing in, and we'll draw the knee to the chest and really allow that leg to press into the colon there. And then we'll slowly release that, and we'll draw the left leg in, holding on either on the hamstring, especially if you have any knee issues. Holding on the hamstring is much safer for the knees. But if you want a deeper stretch and there are no knee issues, it can be great to hold on in the shin. And even more would be to have one hand down by the ankle, drawing that leg in down there too. So now we're putting weight and pressure on the descending colon, encouraging that letting go quality of the autumn season. Good. And then let's release that. And we're going to come into a twist series here. So twists are the ultimate pose for releasing and letting go. So we'll start with knees to chest. And this should be interesting how we can do this if you guys have enough room for this. But they're flexible. They can let go. They're flexible in body and mind. So let's start with the knees to the chest, and we'll bring the arms out to the side. We'll take the legs to the left. So we'll be lengthening through the right colon, compressing through the left. And we'll look over the right shoulder. Great. Looks really, really good. Hey, space is going to be okay. So you can stay here with this one. If you would like to increase the intensity of the twist, you can straighten the legs out to the side. And then also we can make this twist asymmetrical by taking the, oh, you know what? We were doing Dying Warrior last night, so I just took the wrong leg down. Taking the bottom left leg down. When we do this pose on our bellies, you take the top leg down, so. That feels good today. Twists are such great postures for releasing and letting go of tension. Okay, so we're going to come back center, and let's do a really symmetrical pose in the center. So we're gonna do bridge pose in the center because I want you to think about lengthening out that colon. So let's do it where your feet are in line with your sit bones. You're gonna sink the feet into the ground, and the pelvis is gonna float off. And I want you to think about lengthening through the intestines here so that the legs are an extension of the large intestine. And one thing you can do, one thing that's very common in bridge pose is that the knees splay out to the side like this. So you could use a block or something in the center to hold on. And also really focus in on staying connected on the inside edges of the feet. And then, yeah, this is good. Lisa, you could work with, if you'd like to, taking the arms overhead too in this pose. And then you just continue that lengthening down through the legs all the way out through the arms so that both the arms and the legs become this extension of the colon here. My students laugh at me because I think all bodies are sort of walking colons. The whole thing, up one leg, across the body, down the other. Wouldn't that be a pleasant sight? Okay, that's probably long enough for that, huh? Especially with that block. Say hello to your inner thighs. Okay, good. All right, so let's slowly lower down, and I'm going to get you to come into the twists on the other side. So we're going to draw the knees into the chest. Good. And this time we're going to lower the knees to the right side. Good. Arms out in a soft T. Really good. Great. Good. And your shoulders look great. Also, you can see the low backs are nice and long here too. Okay, and then you can straighten the legs out to the side as well. If you scooch, good. Just a little more intensity here. And then taking the bottom leg down, leaving the top leg there. I'm really thinking about lengthening out through both the legs. So we can let go through the legs in the body by lengthening them out long through the pelvis, and that should feel really nice. Both Lisa and Carrie are doing a really excellent job at keeping the low back really, really nice and long. And so thinking about feeding out the leg that's on the ground and the one here too, just continually as you're working on that, lengthen the leg out. Your IT band's really tight, huh? Holy mackerel, girl. I've never felt such strong glute meads either. All those fitness classes, right? Oh my gosh. Excellent. Okay, come on back center, and we're going to do a bridge pose again, but this time we'll do it with a prop with the blocks. Oops. So I think yours is right behind you, Lisa. I think we may have done this before. You can press the feet into the ground and lift up and rest the block underneath your sacrum. So I guess if you didn't have a block at home, you could do this with a stack of books or even a children's ball or something like that too. So whatever you have. So a lot lower, Carrie. Yeah, great. Okay, and then one thing you can do is lengthen the legs out over top of it. This is just so delicious. And if you have room, which Carrie might not, but you might be able to do it with your elbows bent, you can take your arms overhead too. And that is just lovely. Do you feel that lengthening through the body? It's so calming. It's so nice for women when you're menstruating because it's so calming to the pelvis area. And these poses where we're really supported and we're releasing to gravity, they're fabulous for working with the idea of letting go. So no effort in letting go, just releasing and surrendering to gravity. We could just spend the whole rest of the podcast here. Okay. All right, so all good things, as they say, must come to an end. So sink the feet into the ground and lift the block out, and then we're probably going to run a little knees to chest after that because low back will feel good then. Great, and as you draw both knees into the chest, any knee issues, hands behind the knees, but you can just really sink the legs into the ascending and descending colon here. Okay, and then you can either roll to the side or rock yourselves up here. And we're gonna come around and do lunge pose. Okay, so we might want to double up our mats underneath our knees, especially on this hard floor. And what we're going to do is walk the left leg through here. Just gonna walk the left leg through. So you're lengthening out the ascending colon here. Me. Oh, lunge pose. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you practice lunge pose, there's always something. It never gets old. Okay, I'm just waiting for my comfort level to increase before we come up. Okay, so we can sink down through that front left foot and come upright. Good, and we'll leave the left arm down and just bring the right arm up. Yeah. And then we're gonna side bend up and over to the left so that you're lengthening out that ascending colon. You want here, use the block. I was gonna pass it through your legs. And breathe, remember your exhales. And then we'll come back center and we're gonna come into a twist now. So let me show a nice modified version of the twist where you can take your right hand to the outside of the left knee. That's a nice version of the twist. Or you can take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and come into the twist that way. Yes, very nice. Good, so I'll stay with this one. Nice upright version. And if you had any knee issues that prevented you from being on your knees, you could always do this from here and come into a rotation. So a high lunge instead. Okay, let's come on back center. And we'll walk that left leg back. And then let's walk the right leg forward. So we're lunging on the other side. Lengthening out the descending colon now. And then we'll come slowly upright. And we'll leave the right arm down. We'll bring the left arm up and side bend here. Okay, and then we'll come into the twist. So either left elbow to the outside of the knee or left hand to the outside of the knee. Good, and then come back center. And we're going to, how about down dog after that? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, let's do some down dog. Just to find some symmetry in the body. Oh, that does feel good. Before we move on. You've been practicing though. I can tell. Looks good. And you've been working out. So here, you could bend the knees a little bit here. Because right now the spine is really compressed here. Not as long as it could be. So you could take the hands a little bit further where you had them before. And then with really a deep knee bend, leave the hands there, go back. Lengthen out, leave the hands, Yeah, so then we're working on trying to find length in the spine. I mean, you can do this pose to find length in the hamstrings as well, or you can focus in on length in the spine. So just make your decision on how you want to do that. Okay, I tend to like to focus on the spine. There's so many yoga poses that work the hamstrings, so. Okay, let's come down and we're gonna come into thread the needle. So let's take the right arm up, out to the side. Take the right arm underneath the left arm. Rest the right shoulder, right side of the head on the ground. Great. And really staying connected through the shins and the tops of the feet here. And we're going for rotation through the torso here to help improve digestion. So in the yoga system, there's this idea that if waste doesn't move down and out through the body, then it's called ama, and it's like a toxin. And if it doesn't go down and out, it has to come up. And what happens then is it moves up and it comes out through the respiratory tract, through the mouth and the nose as mucus. So as yogis, we would rather have really excellent digestion, get things to move down and out so that we don't have to deal with upper respiratory tract infections because waste is already moved out of the body. So that's why all the twisting and focus on digestion in yoga was one of my absolute favorite things, is yoga for digestion. I have a whole video on it. Okay, come on back center. And let's do that on the other side. Left arm comes underneath the right arm, left shoulder, left side of the head, heavy on the ground. Great stretch for the shoulders too. Okay, and then let's come on out and we'll turn and face front so we're standing sideways on our mats. And let's take our right leg out to the side, your left leg out to the side. So that you're going to be lengthening your ascending colon. Boy, that's even more confusing when you right leg out, there left. Yeah, and you know what? We've been going through this kind of ongoing debate about which way the foot should face in this. And we discovered the other night in class that if you do it the way you're doing it, with the foot forward, then the pelvis comes into neutral, right? If it's out to the side, then there's this big struggle to bring the pelvis back neutral. So we've switched to doing it with the foot front. And there's a nice neutral pelvis, hip bones both facing front. So we're really liking that way. So we're going to take the arms up, breathe in, and we're going to breathe out, side bend, and then you'll lower that left arm down our right. And for everybody at home, they're going to get to lengthen the ascending colon first. Now you can place your hand above the knee or below the knee, but not on the knee. So you don't want the weight to be on the joint. Okay, and slowly up, and then let's come over to the other side. So we'll bring our left leg in, right leg out to the side, tail tucks under. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, side bend. You can lower the arm, just make sure it's not on the knee. And in this pose particularly, oh, they're so good. What wonderful form. Maybe one of you can pretend to have bad form. So what tends to happen here when you're not perfect like these perfect people is the shoulder rolls forward. So the left shoulder rolls forward. You want to keep it rolled back, just as she was. So imagine the back of the body's against the wall here. Okay, and then come on up center. Good, and we're in a really nice position to come up to standing now. So we'll come all the way up to standing now. And in standing pose, we're going to practice Tadasana. And as I said, you can think about the legs as an extension of the colon here. So start lengthening the legs down and into the ground so that they're rooting right into that ground. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms overhead. And we're going to exhale and side bend. And inhale, center. And exhale, side bend. And inhale, center. So we'll just sway from side to side like a palm tree. And I have seen this pose called palm tree before. And just really focus on, as you side bend to the right, that left leg really lengthens long out of the pelvis, so you get even more of a stretch through the colon here. And then as you side bend to the left, same thing, that right leg just grows down. There's all kinds of length happening there through that colon. So they're so relaxed that it's so easy just to let go, and waist can move just right out through the body with just really fantastic ease. And when we affect the physical body, it's easier to let go of emotions once they're fully expressed, and recurring thought patterns, that kind of thing too. Okay, good. So let's lower the arms down. Good. Okay, stand towards the back of your mat. And we're going to do Warrior One pose. We're going to do the short stance Warrior One that I love so much. We're going to start by taking a step forward with the left foot. And just a small step, really, not a big, large stance, because I want your back foot to be straight in this pose. So if you do the long stance Warrior Ones, it's like this, and then the pelvis, you got to turn the pelvis, and it can be a bit torquing for the knee. So with this version, your back foot's straight, and your hips are square to the front, and you're going to sink through the front left sit bone to bend the front left knee. Good. And then you float the arms up. And we're really thinking about lengthening that right leg long. And so it can be a real challenge, especially if you're used to practicing Warrior One the other way, to straighten out this back leg. And especially if you run. Bring your feet a lot closer together. So when Esther Myers taught this style of pose, the step was about equal to the step in your gait in a normal walk. So it's even still too long, Carrie, because I don't think you take that big a step when you walk. Maybe if you're in a hurry. Yeah. Great. And that's a lot easier for you too, right? Okay, good. And then let's slowly lower down, and we'll switch sides on that Warrior One. So we'll take just a normal step forward with the right foot, sinking through the front right sit bone to bend the front right knee. Back left leg lengthens long, arms float up, focusing on elongating the descending colon here by lengthening the back left leg out. Yeah, that's it. See, the second side, once you know. It's a totally different way of doing the standing postures that Vonda Scarvelli and Esther Myers taught. But I really love this version because it's so safe for the body. You know, the hips are square, there's straight lines from the hip bones to the knees to the ankles. And that's why I like to choose this version of Warrior One. Okay, and then let's slowly lower down. Warrior One, and then I want it to do, oh yeah, you might want your blocks for this one. We're gonna do, thank you. We're gonna do Revolved side angle pose. Okay, so let's go stand on the other side. And what we're going to do is we're all going to step forward with our right foot. And we're going to take a big step. So we're going to do the long stance now, just out of confusion. Big step. Okay, sinking through the front right knee. Now you might want your block on the inside of your foot. We'll start by coming down on either side of the right foot. You might want to use the block. So right now I've got a really temperamental SI joint, so I'm going to just take it easy and I'm going to come up on the block. And then what we're going to do is turn towards the right leg and bring the right arm up. So you're coming into a rotation. Yes, very good. Excellent. Great for the colon. Very toning for the digestive system. Okay, and then slowly down, and we'll take a step back. And we'll take a step forward with the left foot this time. Nice big step. Back toes are turned in. You're going to bend through the front left knee, and then you're going to bend over both legs. Okay, and you can either keep the hands on the ground or come onto the block, and you're going to rotate up with the left arm. Nice. Okay, good. And then come on down and we'll take a step up. Okay, so you can put the blocks off to the side. We're going to do some down dogs with leg extensions. So let me demonstrate that, and then we'll work our way through it, because these get very I don't know, distorted in class. So we'll spend a little bit of time going through what this is going to look like. We're going to come into a forward fold to start. We'll step back into down dog to start. And then what I want you to work with is square hips, and you can even correct me and help me in demonstrating that, Lisa, if they're not square. They look good? Okay. And then from here, we're going to rotate open. Okay, so I want you to continue to focus on lengthening through that right leg, and then you'll bring the right leg back. But what I tend to see happen is a very rushed process of leg up, not straight first, up, and then something like that, which actually doesn't have hardly any length to it. So we'll work on really keeping the right leg long, lengthening, then bending to get extra. Okay? So let's work with that. And breathe a lot, especially in inversions where your weight bearing through the wrists. Okay. So yeah, come into down dog. Dive into down dog. Great. And then let's start with the right leg. So we'll take the right leg and see what it feels like to take it straight back. So it's very challenging to find straight hips, and actually very unrewarding too. So the leg's going to have to probably lower down quite a bit, Carrie. Yep. Square off the hips to the front. Yep, square, square, square. More. Drop the right hip. Yep, that's it. Good. So let's try square first. And as you do square hips too, keep the hands where they are. Don't open the hip. Drop it again. Yeah, keep thinking about lengthening that leg up. So it's a very unsatisfying level that the leg gets to, but it's a nice level pelvis. Okay, so now you can start toward opening that right hip. So you'll start opening. I want you to keep thinking about lengthening out that right leg, out the right side. Nice. So good. So you can see all this length here for both Carrie and Lisa. And then you start to bend that leg back. You get even more of a stretch. So long. So great. How did you love this one? I love this move. Oh, yeah. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Your fingers are already spread really nice and wide. Yeah. It's a pretty cool pose. Good. Okay, so whenever you're ready, come back, and why don't you take a break between the sides and come into child's pose so that you have a little rest from that weight bearing. Get some length in the low back. Okay, so let's do this on the other side. So coming into down dog again. And we'll challenge ourselves to do straight leg back first. Yoga teachers, you learn this early on. Always get out of the way of moving legs. In one class, I got kicked in the mouth twice. Yep. Not a very mindful day, no. Very young students and not a very mindful day. It was kicking up into handstand too, so they were hard kicks. Okay. All right, now you're going to start to open, lengthen through that leg. Nice. Good. Lengthen and rotate. Good. And once you have maximum length, then you can bend the knee to get even more of a stretch. I love this inversion. Good. And then come back center. And come on down, child's pose again. Good, yeah. Very, very heating. And very, I forget what I was going to say because I got overwhelmed by the warm part. Very strengthening for the upper body. That's what else I was going to say. Inversions can be very heating, especially if there's so much effort involved in them, right? Okay, come on down onto your bellies. We're going to do a half bow pose. So let's take the arms out long in front. We'll rest the forehead on the ground. Pelvic tilt so the pubic bone is settling right into the ground and the low back stays really long. We'll bend the right knee in. Reach around, holding onto the right ankle if you can reach. If you can't, holding onto the foot. And if you can't hold on to either of those, then you can use a strap here. We'll breathe in and we'll breathe out. Lengthen that right heel away and coming up. Great. And again, you guys are doing such a fabulous job of keeping the low back long. Maybe, Lisa, can you show what it might look like if the tail was swinging up? Can you do that? No, she's well trained to keep the low back long. Yeah, you wouldn't want the tail to swing up. You want to keep the pubic bone rooted. Yeah, and you can see when she rerouted the pubic bone there that the back actually bent back further. Okay, so gently release there. And wiggle the hips from side to side. And then we'll bend the left leg in. Hold on to the left ankle if you can reach, the foot if you can't. Pelvic tilt, reaching the pubic bone into the ground. And then drawing that heel away from the body to lengthen the body up. Okay, and then slowly lower down. We'll push up and back into child's pose. Stretch out that low back. And then we'll come up slowly to sitting. Okay, and we'll come to a comfortable cross-legged position. All right. Let's take, how do you feel about mirroring? Can you mirror in this? This is, okay. You can help me. We're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee for a twist, taking the right hand behind the spine to lengthen up. And then we'll take the right arm, the back arm, straight up, and we'll side bend up and over towards the front left knee. And as Carrie says, that's really good brain gym. It's good brain gym in the physical body to cross one part of the body over to the other part of the body, and then to do it and say the opposite thing, even better for your brain. Okay, and then slowly up, and we'll turn back center. Okay, and then just give the spine a little chance to unravel, because that's pretty intense, right? Yeah, a lot going on, very complicated for the body. Okay, so now let's do this on the other side. So we'll take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, rotate, lengthen the spine up with the left hand. Gurgling noises in the stomach are good. One time when I taught this class to my weekly yoga class, in one class, there was a steady stream of people to the washroom through the whole class. But halfway through, one person would go, one person would come back, another person would go, another person would come back. It did make me, I felt so successful. Take the left arm up, side bend up and over to the right knee. Yeah, the biggest compliment I can get after a class, the next day is somebody calls me and tells me they had the bowel movement of a lifetime. That's like the biggest compliment. Okay, come on up. Okay, come back center. All right, let's take our legs out long in front of us. And we will bend the left leg in. And we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. So we're rotating, and then we'll bring that left arm up. We'll side bend up and over on that right leg. And then slowly up, and we'll come back center. We'll do that on the other side. So we'll bend the right leg in, the left leg will be long. Oh, were you? Good girl. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. When you get tired of mirroring, you just turn sideways. That's how, in class, on video. Okay, bring the right arm up, side bend up and over the left leg. Good. Good, and slowly up, and come on back center. Okay, nice, and I can rest back, lie down for Savasana. In one of my classes, they wanted to print t-shirts that said, "Is it Savasana yet?" Okay. So in Savasana, I want you to reflect back on your experience of letting go today in your yoga practice. Notice what it was like to let go in the physical body. Notice what it's like to let go of the ongoing mental chatter in the mind. Notice what it's like to exhale deeply in the body. So just reflect on your experience, and without any judgment again or any criticism, but with a real sense of compassionate awareness, just notice what that was like for you. And then take some time now to consider how you might want to carry that experience of letting go out into your day-to-day life this week. ready, you can start to wiggle and stretch out. And make your way up to seated by bending your knees and rolling to your right side. Bringing our hands together in the prayer position at the heart. Thank you again, Lisa and Carrie, for joining us for episode 9 of Namaste Yoga. Great week. And I want to take an extra minute, since I do have a couple of extra minutes today, which is unusual, to thank Ken from Naturals Apparels for my awesome yoga clothes, which I'm just loving. Nice and long so they don't ride up your belly, and nice length through the pants, no balling on the inner thighs. Love that. Naturalsapparel.com. You can check out his clothes there. And also to Terry from Perfect Form Training Studio here in Ajax, Ontario. And she opens up her studio to us every Friday afternoon for us to film Namaste Yoga. So thank you very much. Namaste.